Namaskar. Hello and welcome to this fourth episode of eMobility Talks. We started this journey on the auspicious occasion of Jagannath Rath Yatra on 12th of July. And since then, we have been encountering a wide variety of enthusiastic champions of e-mobility. So today we have with us a very enthusiastic and imaginative electronics and telecommunications engineer who has taken over the role of sales, marketing and service domains for Uznaka Solutions. We have with us Mr. Varun Goel, the founder of Uznaka Solutions. And okay, somehow my Mac just turned off, and for the first time, I don't know what happened, but probably Varun would tell us that as to how what surge came, and I just logged off over there. So we have with us Mr. Varun Goel, who's a very critical component of this entire uh, journey, entire ecosystem of e-mobility, as they say, as we've learned in the last three talks from the various other champions of e-mobility, that yes, electrical motor is so very vital component. 85% of the EV space is all import dependent. Yes, it is an MSME sector. A lot of wonderful financing options have come through, whereby co-assembler units are being set up in the hinterland of the country to create more employment. But then in the very first episode, it was talked about that the range of the EV vehicles remains one of the biggest concerns. If I have to purchase a electrical vehicle, so my range is somewhere limited. The radius of my expansion, there is a structural geofencing somehow with the EV vehicles. So from one perspective, parents are happy that my kid would not cross beyond a limit. But then we have Varun and his team at Uznaka who really helps to really make the electrical vehicles quite in tune with the normal mobility. So Uznaka provides wonderful electrical charging stations. They are champions in other areas of automation as well. But today we will be focusing upon only on their contributions to the electrical mobility space. So welcome you, Varun, on the e-mobility talks. Am I audible, Varun? Am I audible, Tapun? Okay, maybe technical glitches are all over. No issues. So yes, you have to unmute, Varun. Yeah.
Really sorry, there was some error.
No worries. No worries.
I just missed out what you were saying.
Okay, so what I was just trying to say that
Yeah,
in the entire e-mobility space, apart from the manufacturers of the electrical vehicles, the charging of the electrical vehicles remain one of the biggest key components. Like we need to have the petrol pumps every some kilometers. So if the electrical vehicle movement has to really become the new normal, we need to be able to recharge our EV batteries, and that too fast, because the charging time remains one of the key considerations. Like the CNG, when we go, the CNG filling is a time consuming option. So electrical battery charging, otherwise the radius of mobility remains quite limited. So
right,
we have with us Mr. Varun Goel of Uznaka Solutions, and he would be talking in greater detail as to what these smart charging stations, what they have created, and a host of other things. So welcome, Varun,
thank you
to the
so much, Sagar.
e-mobility talks today. Yeah.
Okay, so when we talk about charging infrastructure for any country, it depends on, there are multiple factors which it is dependent on.
Mm-hmm.
First of all, it depends on the geography of the place. Like if we talk about India, we have a huge geography to cover.
Mm-hmm.
Wherein if anybody is planning to go to, say, even from Delhi to Chandigarh, it
Mm-hmm.
takes at least 250 to 260 kilometers.
Mm-hmm.
So talking about any electric vehicle, a regular electric vehicle, it generally has a range of 350 to 400 kilometers.
Mm-hmm.
If you talk about going to Chandigarh in morning, doing your work over there, getting done with your business and coming back to Delhi on the same day, you need to have a charging facility in Chandigarh or in Delhi, vice versa, to so that by the time you finish up your work, your car gets charged,
Mm-hmm.
so that you can go back, or else you'll have to take a stopover at the highway and charge your vehicle, and you will have to wait for at least half an hour to
Mm-hmm.
get that thing done. So yes, these challenges are always there, and with the improvements in technology, particularly in the battery technology,
Mm-hmm.
these challenges are being overcome. And uh, there is I'll say it's not more than a few years of time, say another 1 or 2 years, that we will have cars which will have a mileage range of not less than 600 to 800 kilometers. which
Okay.
is typically a range in case of a IC engine vehicle as well.
Mm-hmm.
If you have a any hatchback petrol vehicle, it has a range of say 6 to 700 kilometers on a full tank.
Mm-hmm.
But the only difference between IC engine and electric vehicle is to fill petrol, it takes just 10 to 15 minutes of time.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and in terms of an electric vehicle, that it takes time to charge the batteries.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
So uh, now what happens is wherever you are set, we are setting up a charging station. We'll going forward. It is the most notion that we have of a gas station or a fuel station right now is it does not have anything other than a small gift shop wherein you can buy some snacks or some drinks, and
Mm-hmm.
you have a petrol station. So, in terms of when we talk about EV charging facilities, so for any EV charging facility, even to fast charge any vehicle, let's say any topmost, the most advanced vehicles in the world, say Tesla, will also take at least 20 minutes to fully charge, so
Okay.
that you can again drive it for next 500 to 600 kilometers non-stop. So in that case, you need to have some infrastructure at these charging infrastructures, wherein people can stop over, they can relax, they can enjoy their food, they can relax, and they can entertain themselves, so that they are again ready to carry on with their onward journey.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So again, the dynamics changes. The entire dynamics of the industry changes when you change the fuel of that industry.
True.
I'll
True.
say.
True. True.
So
True.
switching from a petrol, diesel, or say CNG. In
Mm-hmm.
CNG, it takes time when you are standing in the queue.
Mm-hmm.
When your number comes to get the fuel, it
Mm-hmm.
hardly takes 10 minutes to fulfill the tank. You are
Mm-hmm.
ready to go again.
Mm-hmm. Lovely, lovely, lovely. I think Varun is really giving us the future of mobility from a fueling perspective. Because for the
Yes,
last three sessions, what we have been talking about more, the focus had been more on the commercial vehicles, and that to a smaller radius, the repetitive e-rickshaws, the e-loaders, which are in a campus or in a limited locality. But charging is probably required when it really comes to the four-wheelers, where you have to really go to the long haul, the 600-kilometer range
see,
as,
I'm sorry to interrupt, but
yeah.
it's not only four wheelers when it comes to India.
Mhm.
We have people traveling intercity on
Yes,
motorcycles as well.
yes, yes, yes,
So
yes.
it is not only it won't be justified to say
Ha ha
that
ha.
it's only about the cars that we are talking
True,
about.
true,
It is
true,
also
true.
the
Ha ha ha.
motorcycles and also
Now,
in fact, also the three wheelers.
yes,
If you go to
yes,
the hinterland,
yeah.
you have people traveling from a district hospital to their villages in three wheelers.
Perfect, perfect. So we are trying to synergize and synthesize a lot of learnings we are making from all you champions. So it was Mr. Junjunwala's thought that 18 to 20% of the two-wheelers have to commute intercity.
Yes,
So somewhere or the other, the adoption of electrical vehicles across segments, it needs to be pushed through. So a lot of knowledge has to be segmented further. There is a segment that the major two-wheeler IC vehicles are not traveling more than 20-25 kilometers a day. That's a kind of a statistics Mr. Junjunwala gave. So I was drawing focus from there. So we need all the use cases to be covered, probably
right,
so that to really make India electrical mobility ecosystem and 100 billion annual bill of the oil which we have to import and which has a negative impact on our entire financials, entire national financials, economical frontiers, they need to be taken. So, Varun, let's come to the more deeper parts of it because it looks a bit less glamorous, but this is the fuel of it all.
yes,
Electricity is all across. And yes, it looks very good to see the end products, the jazzy, the glitzy two-wheelers, the scooties, the beautiful designs and all that stuff. But at the heart of it all, even you have the batteries. Again, batteries lesser glamorous than your charging stations, but batteries are the core of it all.
right.
So, what all solutions Uznaka is actually offering currently, And what are the improvements you are planning to see down the years, as you have projected that the timelines would really get shrink? Like when the chips were introduced in the market, we had bigger computers, and now miniaturization has really brought the power of almost a supercomputer of the 1960s or 70s in our hands.
Right,
So
right.
let's use that analogy, and how your wonderful range of products which you can see on the screen, just tell us in a layman's perspective as to how this will revolutionize the entire EV space, please.
So, Raghav, we have our own in-house research and development team.
Okay.
Whatever products we are having are designed by us,
Mhm.
and we are not dependent on any imports of the entire product.
Mhm.
So,
Mhm.
yes, when it comes to the chip level manufacturing, we need to import those components from outside India, as we
Okay.
are not having any infrastructure for that.
Mhm.
But we try and maximize the sourcing we are doing from India
Mhm.
rather than going outside India.
Lovely,
So
lovely, lovely. Mm.
that is the first criteria and the foremost thing we have in mind while making any product, that we depend entirely or mostly on the Indian suppliers.
Mhm.
Coming to the products that we are having right now, so we have AC chargers for two wheelers, three wheelers, and for cars.
Okay.
Along with that, we are also working on battery management system.
Mhm.
Again, battery management system is a very critical part of an electric vehicle.
Mhm.
When you say that we want to charge our vehicles fast, we want to charge the batteries very fast, uh, my vehicle should be connected. I should be able to stop the vehicle from getting stolen. There should be a geo fencing. If the vehicle is being driven outside a radius, I should get a notification. All those things are very good to hear, and those are all possible, and those are being done already.
Mhm.
But to make them scalable and to have all these things under one roof, you need to have a battery management system along with that.
Okay.
So when I talk about a charger or a charging station communicates directly with the battery management system of a vehicle. So leaving behind the vehicle and the battery is something which is again a separate ball game altogether. It's a different engineering. It's chemical based.
Mhm.
Vehicle is something which is absolutely different. So we focus mostly on power electronics.
Mhm.
In power electronics, again, we are having the main focus
Mhm. Sorry.
on charging stations, chargers, and the battery management systems.
Mhm.
So this is how we are going forward. And yes, when you talk about the timelines, because we have all these designs with us, we are the manufacturers, we are the designers of these products. So for us to keep in pace with the evolution and the evolvement of the industry, it won't be that difficult, and we keep a tab of what's going on in the industry, and based on that we keep evolving our products.
So, from a layman's perspective, you are trying to say, Varun, ki there is a lot of intelligence which goes between the electrical socket and the battery. As you said, BMS is a very critical component of the whole charging game. Would you like to elaborate upon it? Why you need a BMS to charge a battery over there? What are the critical aspects, and why it is so challenging?
Okay, so BMS is something which is required only for the lithium ion batteries, not for the lead acid batteries.
Okay.
All the
Okay.
e-rickshaws that we had till date were
Mhm.
mostly running on lead acid batteries,
Okay.
which were already there. We have batteries in our cars which are also lead acid batteries.
Mhm.
By increasing the scale of the battery, by doing some redesigning of the battery, you can always make larger batteries of lead acid type. Now when you want to have a better range, better mileage,
Mhm.
if I talk about in layman terms, if you want to have a good mileage of more than 100 kilometers for
Mhm.
a two wheeler, if I say,
Okay.
on single charge, and you want to carry more weight, and you want to have a higher speed with
Mhm.
more acceleration and more top speed,
Mhm.
then in that case you need to redesign the battery, and along with that, the BMS has to be redesigned. Now, what BMS does is, it's the, you can say, the battery is the body of
Mm-hmm.
the vehicle, it's the heart,
Okay.
and BMS is the brain of the vehicle.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Now, brain gives signals to the heart as to how you have to charge, at what current, what voltage the battery has to be charged at which particular moment. What
So
is the
charging the lithium iron batteries is riddled with some challenges. It can
Yes,
get
so the
because of.
lithium-ion battery charging part
Mhm.
is governed by the BMS. Even
Okay.
the discharging part, when you give the throttle,
Mm-hmm.
when you press the accelerator,
Mm-hmm.
it gives you can say, how do I talk in, okay, now in layman terms, it gives a signal to the BMS
Mm-hmm.
that this much of power is required by me or
Mm-hmm.
by the driver to run the vehicle, or this is the speed the driver wants to reach. So
Okay. Okay.
based on that, the BMS will open the gates of the battery to deliver that much power to the motor.
Mm-hmm. Got it. Got it. Got it. Got it.
Now, similar is the case in charging. When you charge your mobile phone, for example, if your mobile phone battery is 12% or 13%, till 80% you have a fast charging range.
Acha.
So the charger of your mobile, which is giving current and voltage to the battery, there
Mm-hmm.
is a BMS inside your phone as well.
Okay. Okay.
Okay, because your phone has a lithium-ion battery, it also has a BMS circuit inside,
Mm-hmm.
which governs that from 10 to 80% I need for to charge the battery fast. I need, for example, X amperes of current and Y volts of voltage.
Mm-hmm.
Now, when reaching 80%, from 80 to 90%, say the phone wants X minus 2 or X minus whatever A amount or X plus A amount of amperes to charge the battery. So,
Mm-hmm.
all these things are governed by the battery management system.
Okay. Okay.
So
Okay.
it's you can say it is something which delivers the power to the battery, and it takes the power out of the battery, supplies to the vehicle components based on the requirement and the need. If the vehicle is on the increment on an incline, there would be more amperage of battery which will be required to
Mm-hmm.
pull the vehicle, because your motor has to apply more of torque to it.
Mm-hmm.
So depending on that, the BMS will charge and discharge the battery.
So you mean to say that as an EV charging station, you have BMS remains a very critical component which has to be designed.
BMS is a critical component which is designed by most of the companies who are
Mm-hmm.
the leaders in this industry.
Okay. Okay.
BMS is something to, when you want to, now when you started, you were saying we need to decrease the range anxiety which
Mm-hmm.
is there among
Yes.
the
Yes.
people. We want to have higher speed vehicles. We want vehicles which can travel intercity.
Mm-hmm.
We want vehicles, the batteries which can charge faster.
Okay.
So to do all these things, now the BMS has to be evolved. It
Okay.
has to be designed in a particular manner. It has to have those protective measurements. It has to have a protocol wherein it communicates with the charging station, tells the charging station how much battery is left, what power has to be delivered to the BMS,
Mm-hmm.
what current has to be delivered, then only these things work. So
Okay.
when we, as a layman, when we say that okay, this ये कार तो 1 घंटा लेती है चार्ज होने में,
Mm-hmm.
so it does not. It depends. There are many factors it depends on. Now, when people say, अगर मैं सर 100 किलोवाट का चार्जिंग स्टेशन लगा देता हूँ, तब तो मेरी कार 15 मिनट में चार्ज हो जानी चाहिए. But
Okay.
that won't happen
Mm-hmm.
because the charging is again governed by the BMS.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
If you have a water tank which
Mm-hmm.
can store 10,000 liters of water,
Mm-hmm.
but you have a pipe which is just 3 inches of diameter, you cannot deliver 100 liters of water in one single go.
So this means that it has to be a standardization with all the EV manufacturers, the kind of batteries or the motors which they're deploying, and the charging stations.
See, the standardization is already there.
Okay,
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 standardization is already there. There are protocols which are followed by
okay.
the industry
Mm-hmm,
across the world, not only in India, across the world.
mm-hmm.
Any vehicle coming to any charging station, both the entities, the charging station and the vehicle, they have the similar protocols.
Okay.
They communicate with each other.
Mm-hmm,
Just like when you communicate over internet, there is a protocol
mm-hmm.
is followed by the internet to make two people communicate with each other.
Yeah.
Similarly, there is a protocol wherein the charger and the vehicle, these two entities communicate with each other.
Mm-hmm,
So, when this communication happens, you put any charging station or you take any vehicle.
mm-hmm,
If the standardization is followed, any car is compatible with any charging station,
mm-hmm.
and any car which is having you plug it into any charging station, it will take the least amount of time that it will take will be mentioned by the manufacturer of the vehicle
Okay,
or
okay.
the battery, I'll say.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Okay, the OEM will define that whatever you do, it will take at least 15 minutes to charge or at least half an hour to charge.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So coming further, moving forward, like when we go to a petrol pump currently, either it is a two-wheeler, it's a three-wheeler, or it's a car, or it's a truck, or it's a trawler. Uh, you go and queue up in any of the lanes, and you get fueled up.
Right.
Would it be the case of EV stations, or would you be having separate BMS or separate charging dockets
The
for?
BMS is there inside the car.
Acha.
Now, for when you talk about different vehicles, yes, the charging standards or the charging station, I'll say, for two-wheelers and three-wheelers is different.
Okay.
For car, it is different.
Acha, acha, acha. Okay.
And now, for people to get to know whether they have a facility for charging their particular vehicle or not at
Mm-hmm.
a look at an outlet, they do have an applications, something called as charging management system or CMS applications.
Mm-hmm.
So when they buy any purchase any vehicle, they get these details from their OEM. And also there are multiple CMS operators in this country who provide you these details. They can book their charging slot. They can even view what kind of charger they have and how much time it will take to charge their particular vehicle.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Now coming to the macro of it all, like we have fuel pumps every some kilometers down the line. And now if I am a consumer and if I have to purchase a new vehicle and maybe I'm willing to put in a bit more money because I'm purchasing a vehicle for the future. So what kind of the electrical vehicle charging ecosystem has already come into the country as present, and
Yeah.
at what pace it is growing? Uh, that will be really helpful for the larger end consumer to understand whether I should invest in that or it will just remain a decorative vehicle which I can charge only from my house connection. Yeah.
See, again, it's a chicken and egg story.
Uh-huh.
Okay. People won't buy vehicles unless they see charging infrastructure.
Mm-hmm.
And charging infrastructure won't grow at a higher, faster pace
Mm-hmm.
until people start purchasing vehicles.
True, 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 true.
It's completely a chicken and egg story,
Mm-hmm.
right? So now because of the increase in the fuel prices and people becoming more environment friendly and more conscious about their environment
Mm-hmm.
because of the pandemic that we have been going through. So now the dynamics are changing, the thought process is changing. People are becoming more inclined towards green mobility.
Mm-hmm.
So yes, we do see that there is an increase in the purchase of electric vehicles, especially in the segment of two wheelers,
Okay.
wherein for local travel, say going to a grocery shop or maybe for dropping off kids to the school, people are going more towards for these two wheelers.
It can be charged from a house connection directly.
Yes, you can charge from your house connection. The batteries are portable,
Mhm.
lightweight batteries. You can take it to the house, even if you're living in a multi-story building.
Okay. Okay.
You can carry the battery to your house. You can charge it over there. So there are many different many things. You talk about now, like for Uznaka, we are tying up with colleges,
Mm-hmm.
we are tying up with hotels,
Mm-hmm.
wherein we are investing our money, our resources. We are setting up charging stations so
Okay.
that people get used to these chargers and
Mm-hmm.
they start buying and purchasing these electric two wheelers.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
If I go to any college in a tier two city, say, for example, you go to Varanasi
Mm-hmm.
and you have a college over there, a degree college or any engineering college, most of the kids they come on two wheelers. So if they have a facility to charge their vehicle in the college where they are spending say six
They
to
will be
7 hours,
inclined to
5 to 6 hours they are spending in the college.
Okay.
If they can charge their vehicle over there, okay, which can be done in a faster manner if they would charge at their home.
Mm-hmm.
So they have a full charge battery, say, which can take them 80-90 kilometers
Mm-hmm.
on a single charge. And when they leave from their college, they have a full tank of fuel with them so they
Mm-hmm.
can go out.
Okay.
Like
Okay.
I remember my college days when I was in the college, when we used to leave from college, we used to think,
Mm-hmm.
अरे अब पेट्रोल डलवाना होगा बाइक में तब घूमने जा सकते हैं. So now with evolvement in the industry with changing times, now if I talk about the newer generation, for them it wouldn't be that difficult,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
right? And again, when we talk about e-mobility, it's more about not only about pollution free environment, it
Mm-hmm.
is also about reducing the cost of travel that you have.
Yes. Yes.
the,
So
the,
what's the typical? See, you're really touching upon a very interesting aspect, that all the parking lots in the campuses per se, because
yes,
four wheelers might be the second phase of the adoption of
It's
e-mobility.
18 hours.
But two wheelers is something which is quite very near to us. It is affordable. It is quite in the range of IC engine vehicles as well.
right,
And as Mr. Junjunwala was suggesting, that a typical IC engine two wheeler, including the maintenance part of it, costs some 4 to 4 rupees 70 paisa per kilometer. That comes, and electrical vehicle costs 17 se 25 paisa. That's the kind of pricing for the charging costs. I don't know.
yes,
I'm
that's
just
the
learning
that's
from,
the running cost.
there's
That's
the running cost of it all.
yes,
So and he said that the unit consumed for a full charge is 1.5 units kilowatt hours. That's what.
yes,
So
exactly,
so if a college has typically 1,000 kids, for example, let's take a metric of 1,000 kids, and
right,
all of them 1,000 have their EVs. So
right.
which of the Uznaka charging station or charging stations, how many of them would you be suggesting or prescribing them? Suppose a college says I'm a green campus, and I have to say that, okay, in order to prove that you are a green campus, let's make mandatory, instead of giving now laptops, every kid has got it right in
Right,
class 6th. So ask them to purchase a vehicle, perhaps
right. Because
thousand electrical vehicles
yeah,
of the same grade. How much of the charging, how much of the electricity? Just give a macro, just to understand for an institutional level planning. Yeah.
see, when you're saying you're talking about 1,000 bikes, so all the bikes at the same time won't be charging.
Okay.
Okay, to be very practical, let's take only say 10% of these bikes would be requiring charging at a particular time, at a particular moment.
Okay. 100 station
100,
charging station.
100 of these bikes. Now,
Mm-hmm.
to cater to 100 of these bikes, if I go uh, by the regulations and by the criteria laid down by the government of India,
Mm-hmm.
the best suited public charging station would be the Bharat AC Type 1 charging station, which
Okay.
can charge three vehicles at a time. So
Got it.
typically, a college would require to install at least 30 of these.
Okay.
Okay,
Mm-hmm.
30 of these. If one bike is pulling, say, taking 1 kilowatt of power at a moment,
Mm-hmm.
so for 100 kilowatts of electricity would be required
Mm-hmm.
at a time to charge these 100 vehicles.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So 30 charging stations and 100 kilowatt of
Yes,
the power would be consumed. So
yes.
typically the colleges, do they have this kind of an electrical connection, or they have to augment their
Uh,
electrical supply connections for that matter?
See, an engineering college, if I talk about, would be having at least 50 to 60 kilowatt of connection, as what I understand.
Okay.
I'm not very much, I won't be, please do not mark my words because I may be wrong here.
Because if a big
I
mechanical engineering, I would say
yes, all those equipped
machines are
machines,
running. Yeah, yeah.
if I consider those machines,
Hmm.
say even four lathe machines are running,
Yes.
you should be having at least 50 to 60 kilowatts of connection.
Hmm.
Upgrading that to another 100 would not be that difficult
Typical.
for
The
a
lines are there. The infrastructure is already there.
already there. You just need to upgrade the transformer and have the formalities done by the electrical department,
Okay.
and you're good to go with that.
Hmm.
So when a college is investing into something like this, they are not investing into, or they are not looking at making profits out of it.
Hmm.
Yes, there is a commercial aspect towards it. There should be always, when you're investing into something as any entity,
Hmm.
you should always keep in mind that there should be a commercial aspect attached to something.
Hmm.
Otherwise you lose interest in that particular
Lovely, lovely.
thing.
So when you said that Bharat AC Type 1, the standard you were talking about, these are all very intricate technological standards. So what is the typical ballpark cost of one charging station of that order, which can simultaneously charge, say, three EVs at once?
So that typically would cost 60,000 rupees inclusive of all.
Okay, okay.
That's almost a laptop that you was talking about.
A charging station cost
Yes,
60K. Okay.
yes. Or
And,
you can say a cost of a scooter, electric scooter, would
mm-hmm.
be the cost of one charging station, I'll say.
Mm-hmm.
So that is what we have as of
And
now.
that Uznaka provides as a ready
That's
to
ready to
deploy
buy.
kind of
Yes,
a.
that's a ready to move, ready to use product. And
Okay.
when we say we are installing in 30 or 40 chargers, so the installation is again always done by us.
Mm-hmm.
We send our engineers on site. They do the installation, they do the demonstration, they
Mm-hmm.
do testing. Everything is done by us.
Mm-hmm.
We cover a warranty of 18 months over these products.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
So this is how uh, we provide. But yes, the cost of ownership is not much. This is one aspect that we are talking about. The other aspect is owning these charging stations
Mm-hmm.
and running them as a public charging station or as a business to
Mm-hmm.
cater to your customers.
Okay.
So, for example, if you have a kirana shop in the market, if
Mm-hmm.
you have place to park three rickshaws, a
Acha.
person can set up this charging station in his shop.
He can become a energypreneur just by
Yes,
deploying, say,
yes.
60,000 plus 40,000 more
I
in a
I
lakh of
have
rupees. Hmm.
I have people who have purchased these from us,
Mm-hmm.
and they are making good amount of money, not less than 18-20,000 per month from only
Lovely.
by
Lovely.
charging these vehicles.
So,
It is,
just Varun, I would just stop you because I'm just trying to understand
yes,
from a very,
please.
very layman's perspective कि 60,000 रुपया डालने के मैं एक पेट्रोल पंप का मालिक बन जाता हूँ मतलब पेट्रोल ऑफ द
Yes,
न्यू एज
absolutely.
पेट्रोल पंप क्योंकि पेट्रोल पंप लेना एक हमारे टीयर 2 टीयर 3 सिटी में जी मंत्री जी से लिखवाना पड़ता था और वो
बहुत बड़ी
या तो
बात है वो।
शहीदों को मिलता था तो नाउ एवरी व्हीकल है तो ये बताइए कि द थ्रेट ऑफ एक्सप्लोजन जैसे नॉर्मल पेट्रोल पंप नीड्स अ लार्जर एरिया लॉट ऑफ एक्सप्लोजन clearances and all that stuff so I think that is not applicable in the EV charging.
No, this is in when you talk about a petrol pump, you need to take clearances, you need to have licenses for that.
Okay,
This
okay.
is the license. Plus, now there is a difference between gasoline,
Mm-hmm.
and electricity. When you
Okay.
are handling petrol or diesel, it's a flammable liquid.
Mm-hmm.
It can catch fire. You need to have clearances from the fire department, from different various people.
Yes, yes.
In case of having a machine which is just providing electricity,
Mm-hmm.
just like having a switchboard in your house,
Mm-hmm.
you don't need you know a meter and a switchboard. For that you don't need any clearance from any department.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
that's the beauty of this part. If you have say an independent house, you have space to park three scooters.
Okay.
You can put a charging station over there and start charging people
And
for
I don't need any licensing. I don't need
you don't need any
any
license for that.
application. पर्चा कोई नहीं भरना पड़ेगा हमें.
You don't need anything, no parcha. But this is what I feel the day we
Uh-huh.
start, putting these charging stations in within a house
Mm-hmm.
or at different locations, if it becomes that free, that
Mm-hmm.
people start having this like a pan ki dukan,
Yes, yes, yes.
then this industry would be an explosion.
Mm-hmm.
That day we will have so much of work that I think we won't be able to even cater to the demands that we will be having.
So, what kind of a governmental support or a government? Because see, you have made this entire charging station stuff uh, just like a pick and choose, just like a commodity. Uh, I need to just have a connection of some 1 kilowatt hour. I
Become
already
like
have
an RO plant, you have water
just
connect.
like an RO plant, like a very necessity of our new household.
Yes, yes,
So one is the campus use case where obviously the engineering colleges are more apt. They have the grounds, they have the parking spaces, and they have the kids coming from the nearby locality. And this can be one other incentive for 100% attendance as well. कि अगर
right.
कॉलेज जाएंगे तो
तो गाड़ी फ्री में चार्ज हो जाएगी
तो चार्जिंग हो जाएगी.
तो घूम सकते हैं.
So many of the colleges have deployed the solar power panels, rooftop power panels,
Yes,
and the government has reduced the scheme of in the grid. So instead of returning that power to the grid, why not give it to your students per se? Or
exactly.
maybe the hostelers can, so the campuses can reorient their electrical capacity. Ki after the college hours, the charging rates drop down like we had earlier in the
Yeah,
internet space.
these are the operational decisions that they need to take.
Perfect, perfect,
Right.
perfect. So, do you design these solutions for a campus ready to deploy, or they have to put their minds and they have to be really very,
See,
very proactive?
we do give them consultancy on this as
Okay.
to how better they can do.
Mm-hmm.
But yes, we are already in talks with a few colleges wherein we would be designing an entire system for them,
Acha.
for their students, wherein they can use their ID cards
Uh-huh.
to directly go charge, pay through that card,
Mm-hmm.
recharge that card, use it as a smart card.
Mm-hmm.
So that is how we are planning to do this.
Okay. And your charging stations are at par with all kind of manufacturers for that matter?
Yes, of
All
course.
standard.
See,
Hmm.
I told you these are all standardized.
These are all standardized.
Yes.
Huh?
So whenever we are making anything for an industry which is so complex,
Mm-hmm. It
we
has to be
follow,
standardized.
you
Hmm.
have to follow the standards.
So what is the typical time frame? As you said, Tesla takes 20 minutes for a car, maybe the larger part. So how much does the e-bike? We were hearing
See,
about
e-bike on this charger, it takes nearly 1 hour or 1 hour 15 minutes to fully charge.
Acha, 60 minutes, three charges are done. 60 minutes, and people can keep on moving on.
Yes, 60 minutes, depending on the battery size again,
Mm-hmm.
it keeps
Okay.
on changing.
Mm-hmm.
So as I told you, the battery size and the BMS again, it boils
Of
down
every vehicle which
of
comes.
every vehicle. The OEM must be different. The
So
battery
how
type
much
should be different.
differential it might be there for different classes of vehicles?
Maximum 15 to 20 minutes of difference would be there.
Acha, that's it. That's it. That's it. So parking wala bhaiya can be further gainfully employed. कि उनके
Yes.
पास चाबी होता ही है भाई. Every 1 hour you just keep on switching and swapping.
Yeah, you just have to just remove the charger, the plug from one vehicle and plug it into the other one.
And you give the range longer one. The wire is longer, or the
That
vehicle has
can
to
be
be.
done. That can be done very, very easily. That's not a
Mhm.
challenge.
Okay, okay, okay. So this is quite very interesting that and this is also in that spirit of expanding. Like the welders in the market, they have huge electrical connections. So wherever people have larger electrical connections, they can use that deployed capacity of theirs to really deploy these singular or double charging stations. And so what are the financing options probably for a small entrepreneur? Are you providing those solutions as well for micro entrepreneurs?
Yes, for financing part, there are options available
Okay.
which people can go for.
Mhm.
Uh, Now again, since right now, because people are more confused as to what solution to take and what it is exactly about,
Mhm.
and we also have a tendency of going by the pricing of a product
Mhm.
as to where I can get the cheapest. So that First, that has to overcome.
Mm-hmm.
That thing has to be taken care of. Then, once it is done, we do have financing options wherein we provide our customers with the options where they can go for. They can take it on installment basis,
Uh-huh.
right? They can pay us later, install now, pay later. We also provide entire franchisee to the customers,
Acha.
wherein we set up the entire charging station for them.
Mm-hmm.
We provide them with the business models as to how you make money out of it. We do the branding, we have our set standards for that.
Okay.
And for that, we have another service that we provide called eManzil,
Okay.
which is a part of Uznaka.
Mm-hmm.
So under eManzil, we give them those franchisees
Acha.
wherein they have a charging station, they have a cafe, they give electric cycles on self-driven rental basis.
Okay. Okay.
So there are different things that we do.
So
to-
you're expanding the ecosystem around the fueling station.
exactly around the fuel station. Now, fuel station is the key to it.
Uh,
But when I say, if I ask you that, Raghavji, you have a piece of land with you,
mm-hmm.
why don't you invest another 2 lakh rupees and
Mm-hmm.
start charging vehicles? You'll say, no, I'll invest those 2 lakh rupees somewhere else.
Mm-hmm.
Right now, I don't see the market. So then
How do you
again, you will see what else can I do with this 2 lakh? Do you have something else also with this?
okay. So the preferences of the investors has to really come
Depending,
to the
yes, depending on the place, depending on the geography, depending on the investment size, depending on the resources that you are having,
Mhm.
there are different things that can be done.
So Varunji, you talked about beautifully covered upon the campuses, the micropreneurs who can have an additional income because of charging stations and all. What about the community living? There is RWAs, the societies over there. They have, they do have parkings, they do have electrical connections. So are you targeting that area as well? Because that's where, because in the lockdown, the formal campuses are shut down.
Right, right.
So, but the basic
So,
mobilities are there in residential complexes. So, what kind of solutions do you have for them?
right. So for residential complexes, say for example, complexes in bigger cities of like Mumbai, Gurgaon, Noida, or these places. So there in the housing societies, it's still a very complicated thing to do.
Acha,
What I feel,
okay.
because again, the question comes is, who is going to invest?
The RWS probably they
Is it
have.
the RWA who is going to invest? Is it the vehicle owner who is going to invest? Is it the builder? Or who is it who is going to invest? Now, the other question which arises, which is, this is a very interesting thing. Many people ask me why I don't do this,
Mm-hmm.
but I am also surprised, and even I am finding solution to these questions that I have in mind. The
Okay.
other question comes is, supposing there are 100 houses in an RWA, you must be living in a some place where you must be having some RWA kind of a body,
Mm-hmm.
right? We all do have. Even in a mohalla, you have a community, a
Mm-hmm.
committee.
Mm-hmm.
So when RWA is installing these chargers in a housing society, we have parkings marked as per the house.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if I say I have an electric vehicle, my neighbor does not have an electric vehicle.
Okay, okay. The entire re-engineering of the parking allotments has to be worked around.
Yes.
Maybe a bay of electrical vehicles
Now,
might be created.
if I have a very convenient parking spot, my parking is just outside the building. I'll say मैं अपनी गाड़ी यहाँ से नहीं हटाऊंगा.
Lovely, lovely, lovely. Varunji, it seems like the whole parking goes where the builders charge a mammoth amount of money under the table. Supreme
Yes.
Court laws does not allow them to charge, and the whole old normal will be
Because
disrupted once your
this problem here is to bring
the
all the
stakeholders.
stakeholders on a same consensus that
Lovely,
okay, मैं
lovely,
अपनी गाड़ी जहां बोलोगे वहां लगा दूंगा. और अभी क्या होगा ना, like there are 100 houses. If RWA is paying, they are paying out of everyone's pocket.
हम्म,
People will say मैं तो इलेक्ट्रिक गाड़ी खरीदी नहीं,
ठीक बात है, ठीक बात
मैंने तो पिछले महीने पेट्रोल कार खरीदी, अब मैं 5 साल तक कोई कार नहीं खरीदूंगा.
है।
मैं मैं मेहता जी की गाड़ी के लिए क्यों पैसा दूं?
No, that's fine. That's fine. So, does your charging stations also come with a metering solution?
Yes, of course, of
Okay.
course. All these
Okay.
public charging stations do come with metering solution.
So you can
Otherwise,
charge with the rates and everything.
yes, there are
Or
three
are there
options.
standards for charging, or you can charge any?
there are three options. Just like you drive into a petrol pump, you have
Mhm.
three options.
Okay.
You have a tank full,
Mm.
you go by money कि 2000 रुपए का पेट्रोल, or you go by the liters, 10
Okay.
लीटर 12 लीटर petrol.
Okay.
Same is in the case of our charging stations.
Acha.
Person has three options.
So you
First,
can program right away over there.
yes, I want to charge for 50 rupees, or I want to fully charge the battery, or else he will say, I want to charge for say 10 minutes.
Okay.
So
Okay.
after 10 minutes, the power will cut off and it will generate the bill.
Lovely, lovely. So that knowledge the driver has to have, and you're charging. So this also creates a lot of employment opportunity for the new age fuel persons. They have
Yes,
to be
of
trained
course,
in that. They're
of course, of course.
Mhm.
And this is a very easy thing. It has a touch screen display on it,
Acha.
just
Mm-hmm.
like using your mobile phone.
Mm-hmm.
It's a software, a very simple software
Mm-hmm.
which anybody can use. We give training for that also to
Mm-hmm.
whoever uses this.
Mm-hmm.
And when it comes to personal chargers, in case of let's say cars which are AC type 2
It has
chargers.
been quite an interesting discussion. We just are running out of time. But one last question: how much of the EV electrical vehicle manufacturers are excited by Uznaka solutions per se? So, do you have strategic tie-ups with these EV manufacturers,
So,
or
yes, in terms of three wheelers, we do have tie-ups with a few of these OEMs.
okay?
When it comes to car chargers, we are still in terms of negotiations, and we are still having talks and dialogues with these companies.
And two-wheelers for that matter?
For
They're
two wheelers, yes, two wheelers and three wheelers, both of
we
these
both
segments are generally the same OEMs
same
are
same
providing.
OEMs are there. Okay,
Yes.
okay. I
Now,
think
we talk
yeah.
about cars. There are only two OEMs right now in India. One is MG and the other one is Tata.
Mhm.
So yes, we are waiting for that
Mhm.
industry also to grow. And
Mhm.
once it grows, and once we have our mark in the industry, we would definitely be.
And how closely are you working with the government with the new green highways coming up with these super expressways? So are you in touch with the Ministry of highways and roads to install these strategic charging stations? Some new
Yes, yes.
designs over there.
We
Yeah.
are, we are in touch with various government organizations
Okay.
wherein we are setting up our chargers and in their premises.
So which would be the first highway for that matter where we would be finding?
So for highways, we have not yet started doing this
Cha?
because on highways you require fast DC chargers, which are of
Fast
very
DC.
high capacity, and we
Okay.
are still in the testing phase of that. So
Okay.
unless and until we have tested our products fine completely, I
Mhm.
don't like going around the market and telling about
Lovely.
that,
Lovely.
or pitching to someone and trying to sell them something which is not still not
Mhm.
there.
So one last thing, Varunji, on your website, you put up very proudly, and this is quite a proud statement, that you have an entire IIT Roorkee alumni team doing all the designs of all these products. And you said that all your products are designed and deployed in India, just some of the chips. So just tell us more about the Roorkites who are flying Uznaka solutions so very high.
So basically, most of our team members, in fact, I'll say 99% of the team members are from the engineering background. Not
Mhm.
all are from IIT.
Mhm.
Yes, if you're
So I
talking,
was talking about IIT Roorkee in particular because you
yes,
mentioned it very
okay.
specifically there.
So
Yeah.
IIT Roorkee is because the chairman of our company, Mr. N.K. Goel, he has an experience of more than 50 years now.
Okay.
He
Okay.
is an alumni of IIT Roorkee.
Okay.
He
Okay.
did his BE and ME from there.
Lovely. Lovely.
Has been a part of the transportation industry for almost 50 years now, and also comes from the electrical background.
Wow. Wow.
So,
Because I mentioned it because on the National Technology Day we had the chance to felicitate a number of IIT Roorkee alumni who have really brought about very futuristic technological platforms from Razorpay to AirMeet to Leher apps. So that's where and Professor Premrat, who was the founding director of IIT Roorkee when it all translated in 2002.
yes,
So
yes,
it
yes,
happens to be one of the oldest engineering college right in the heartland
exactly.
of India. And since you have put it very proudly over there, we just felt key to for our audience that It's the Rurkites who are driving this.
That's actually a very proud thing for us to, have such a senior person with us in team
Mhm, mhm.
who who is not only a part of the team but also a mentor
Yes,
to us.
yes, yes. So
Mentor
thank you,
to us
Varun,
in all
for this
spheres of
lovely
life.
interaction. आपने जो कहते हैं ना कि पूरा जो ई मोबिलिटी का ताना बाना है, उसमें जो चार्जिंग कहाँ करेंगे, उसको इतना सिंप्लीफाई कर दिया है, बोथ फ्रॉम अ टेक्नोलॉजिकल पर्सपेक्टिव एंड इट्स फाइनेंशियल पर्सपेक्टिव, और रीयूज और मल्टीपल यूसेज ऑफ द वेकेंट लैंड्स. हमारे इतने पार्किंग लॉट्स पड़े हुए हैं, एंड द यूज केसेस व्हिच यू हैव प्रेजेंटेड इज अ लवली ब्लूप्रिंट which can expand upon. And today happens to be the World Youth Skills Day, and the Honorable Prime Minister, in his address in the morning, he talked about that, of the relevance of youth reskilling and upskilling to remain relevant in the market. So all our parking lot chaps can be probably upskilled by Uznaka to become fuel, because it has to be distributed stuff, because electricity is everywhere, electricity is at every institution. So a redesigning of the whole fueling ecosystem is probably on the cards. And we really congratulate Uznaka for investing, and the proud moment, it is not imported one, it is all designed and manufactured, and this is something which will lead to an Atmanirbhar Bharat. And we really wish you all the best in your endeavors further. Thank you for joining us this evening,
Thank
and
you
it
so
was
much
really a
for
terrific
giving me
interaction.
the chance to share my thoughts here.
Yeah, please.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you, Varunji, thank you. We'll come with another champion of e-mobility